Did you wake up? Oh, go ahead.
First practice, obviously.
Yeah, look, if the first practice isn't a good practice, you got problems. You know, I mean, energy was good. Guys are ready. Obviously, they're excited. You know, they got practice gear on for the first time. And you know, we've got a veteran team, so these guys know each other. But it's time now. You know, we've been working on stuff in the summer. We've been working on stuff in the fall, and now we're starting to add a few things. So we kind of have our base foundation set, and now it's a matter of adding things and seeing how quickly this group can digest some new things that we're trying to do, and you know, look at all the weapons that we have, and try to how do we best utilize those. That's my challenge. Our challenge as a staff is figure out how to utilize the weapons that we have on this team.
You said back in August that before this practice you were going to ask all those guys, everyone that wanted to make the NCAA tournament, to raise their hands.
Yeah.
Did you do that today, and do you think just kind of collectively that that's the mindset of these guys?
Yeah, it's the mindset. I did that back in late August when we reported back to school. So you know, we're not talking about the NCAA tournament now. Our guys know what the goal is. We know what we want to have happen this year, and now it's a matter of just going to work every day and getting better. So it's not something I'm going to beat them over the head with. We all know the situation, and it's time to come to the gym and get better every day. And that's my challenge to this group is you know, accept the challenge and the process that it takes to get there, which is get better every day.
Seems like looking back when there maybe have been disappointing seasons, there's been maybe a void in leadership on this team. It's maybe wisdom of hindsight, but with this team, McKinley, Tyler, Evan, do you think they're in pretty good shape about having guys that are going to keep the club focused on the big picture?
Yes, I do. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think we got really good leadership on this team, and we've got good chemistry on this team and good togetherness on this team, and so I don't worry about that. But it's something I've got to keep my keep my finger on the pulse, so to speak. And if that starts to wane, and you know, the time you find out if you have leadership or not is when you have adversity. And I think we found out last year with this team when we struggled early, and the season's a long season. You know, it's September the 27th. You know, we want to be playing in mid to late March. You know, it's a long season, and so you find out at times of adversity what kind of leadership you have. But if you ask me today, I think we have it.
How does Tyler kind of maybe fit into that picture? You know, such a quiet guy, but obviously one of the best players on the team.
Tyler's voice is, you know, I heard his voice today, and I'm not used to hearing Tyler's voice on the floor. He'll talk off the floor. He's really, I think, matured in a lot of different ways as a young man since he got here, and so yeah, I'm not sure Tyler's ever going to be the loudest guy out there, but he's, you know, his voice will be heard, and he's not afraid to use it now. And maybe in years past he was a little quieter. But, everybody's a little different in their personalities, but when we step through that tunnel and on the floor, everybody's got to have their voice be heard. And Tyler's being one of them. And we're used to hearing Evans, and McKinley's, and some of those guys. Deshaun's got, you know, he's a quiet guy by nature. So I think that's the transformation you want to see from underclassmen to upperclassmen. Again, I'm hopeful that happens.
It's obviously very early here and now, but what are your kind of expectations for Maddox and what kind of boost he can give you guys this season?
Well, I think number one, with the three-point line going out, I think he gives us an extra shooter out there that can stretch the defense. You know, one of the strengths of this team is our bigs inside, and for bigs to have room to operate down there, they got to be surrounded by shooters. And Maddox is a good shooter, and he's a guy that, you know, people are going to have to respect him. And now the challenge for him is, now when they close out to him, he's got to be able to shot fake and get by him and use his off the dribble moves, because we know he's a very good catch and shoot shooter, and we're going to need that this year. We're going to need it. Some guys, whether it's Maddox, whether it's Shane, whether it's Lucas, you know, to be consistent outside shooters. I'd add McKinley to that list. Eli, Dalen, you know, all of our perimeter players. Deshaun is in the preseason probably been our best shooter. So we've got a lot of weapons, and Maddox is hopefully going to be one of them.
Coach, how did Dallas look to you today, and do you have any restrictions on him for the season?
No, you know, he's wearing the brace, but he looked good. You and he's running well, and he's getting into shape. There's going to be a little rust on his game, much like last year. After Evan, went through what he went through, there's a little rust on Evan's game, but I don't expect that to last very long. It's going to take some time for Dallas to kind of get back in the flow of things, but he looked good today, and it's nice to have that big, 7-footer at the rim protecting and rolling. He's really a skilled player. I go back to the fact that he was 9 for 9 from the field against the #1 pick in the NBA draft as a freshman. So we know what he's capable of. Not that he's going to be 9 for 9 every game, but it's sure good to have him back.
Is that brace something he's hoping to ditch by the time the
I don't
game's
think so.
over?
I think he's going to use it for the year, and I think that's the biggest thing with guys coming back, especially big guys, 7-footer with an ACL. He'll probably wear it for the year, and hopefully ditch it next season. So, and I know when the brace comes off, that's when he's absolutely 100%. I do think he's 100% right now. It's just the mental part, trusting it. That's the biggest thing with anybody coming back from a knee injury.